Welcome to the final game in what has been an incredible season for women's football domestically. The Euros sandwiched in between, of course, those history makers over in Southampton. But here at the National Stadium, Windsor Park, it's a battle for silverware. The Women's Challenge Cup final. Glentoran, the usual suspects, the holders, taking on the League Cup winners, Sion Swifts. Two teams lining up in advance of kickoff. So let's have a look at those two team lineups. First of all, it's Glentoran, and it is a starting 11 filled with established internationals. The midfield trio of Caldwell, Andrews and McCarran all played at the Euros this summer. Hamilton and Beattie provide firepower up front. And despite it being a relatively young Sion Swifts side, it's one that has plenty of experience. Crompton and McCarter tasted cup success here 5 years ago. Chambers is a player in form. She has scored 3 times in this cup run already. And the match referee is Louise Thompson, assisted by Victoria Finlay, Lauren Traynor and Arlene Campbell. And alongside me in the comedy box, someone who knows all about success, having tasted it earlier this week. Now a league champion, Marissa Callahan, officially. Big game though for both these clubs tonight.
Yeah, it's a massive occasion. You know, the Irish Cup final is always an exciting night, and to have it here at the National Stadium is fantastic. So both players, both teams, all the players in the teams will be really excited to get started.
One thing I was going to ask you, a lot of these players, well, particularly the Sion Swifts players, may not have played here before. How intimidating a stadium is it to play in as a young player, because it's so vast, the pitch is huge, and obviously you've got an 18,500 seater stadium.
Yeah, I wouldn't say intimidating. As I said, I think they'll be really, really excited. What an occasion. I mean, it's a fantastic stadium, plenty of fans here tonight to watch them, and especially being a young player, you know, they're fit, they're healthy, and they'll be ready to work really hard, I think.
Sion Swifts have already claimed the League Cup earlier this season. Maybe not the internationals that Glentoran have, but what are their qualities as a club and as a starting 11?
Sion Swifts has always been a tough team to beat. They work so hard on and off the ball. They do have a lot of pace going forward and a lot of quality in midfield. So I feel like they'll try and exploit Glentoran's back four, and you know they can leave gaps. And with their pace, hopefully they can go and create some chances. If
you were going to analyse this game in advance of kickoff, what would you have been saying in terms of the areas in particular where you feel this match is going to be won or lost?
Well, it's going to be won in wide areas, I think so. You know, Cara Hamilton, who's on the ball now, she has a lot of pace. She loves to drive with players, take on players 1v1. So I think Glentoran will be looking to get the ball to her and the likes of Beattie as well, and getting lots of crosses in.
Caldwell involved a moment ago. There's Cara Hamilton. Very familiar face on TV screens. Was obviously a pundit for BBC at the Euros. Has been on co-commentary for a number of games over the past couple of months, but is most at home very much on the pitch and on that right wing. She's been in sparkling form both at international level and also for her club since battling back from injury. Yeah, Cara's had a tough few months, actually a tough few years, I think. So it's good to have her back on the pitch, and especially it'll be great to have her next week in the squad when we come up against Italy. Big game coming up, of course, for Northern Ireland. There's a look at some of the supporters. That section particularly vocal from a Sion Swifts perspective. Saoirse Docherty, her first involvement. Decent turn from McLaughlin. Looks towards the far side, and Chambers opening corner kick of the game. Great defending there from Tweedy. Chambers is definitely going to be a dangerous player tonight. I think Glentoran defence need to make sure they're switched on to her. She's a fantastic player. And great assets on the ball. Sarah Tweedy, the youngest member of this Glentoran lineup, forced her way into the side. Jennifer McDaid very unlucky as the ball comes in. It's right on top of the goalkeeper, so difficult to defend. And it's McCarran who cleans things up. It's a real early tester for Ashley McKinnon in goals for Glentoran. There's an example of the qualities that Marissa was referring to. Cara Hamilton powering forward. Here's another look at that corner kick a moment ago. Dropped right on top of the goalkeeper, who was under real pressure. I think it was it Kirsha Doherty alongside her?
Yeah, the goalkeeper done really well there, getting up and winning it and clearing the ball.
Foy lifts it in.
Sion's had a good start here, I think. Glentoran's defence looking a little bit nervous.
Kirsha Doherty wins it back. Kerry Brown, a big player for Sion. Had a fantastic League Cup final against Cliftonville.
Yeah, she's big and strong in that wide area. She does like to shoot from outside the box as well, so Glens will have to make sure they're alert to that.
Sion Swifts pretty much give the starting lineup a midweek fixture off. Their final game in the domestic season. They'd already secured that fifth spot, top of the second section of the Danske Bank Premiership. As Caldwell gets in the ball, such a big player for Northern Ireland, but she's given it away rather cheaply, out-muscled by McLaughlin.
Just before that, I think we got a glimpse of the quality that Kelly Bailey has. You know, she's an established player. She's been around the game for so long, but you know, she's still top quality in this league, and she's still working really hard. She reads the game so well. She's a great defender for them.
And at 42, staggering that she's still playing at the highest level. It says a lot about her as a person and her competitive spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. She's won so many trophies for Glentoran over the years, and you know, she's still one of the top players in the country. She just defends, just simply doing the simple things, and you know, she reads the game so well. So I think that's definitely helped her prolong her career.
Has a handful of winners' medals already. Kelly Bailey played in the semi-final and was on the score sheet against rivals Linfield. There's Gail Redmond on the edge of her technical area. What will she think of the early stages? It's been mainly played in the Glentoran half so far.
Yeah, Glens have a little habit of taking a little out of the starting games, but you know, it's early days once they get settled in. But the big thing, Sion have to try and stop them from playing, because their three midfielders are fantastic, and once they get the ball, it's hard to get it off them.
Kerry Beattie had peeled away in this near side. That's a captain, Jessica Foy, teacher at Fort William in North Belfast. Northern Ireland international in the past, didn't make the final squad for the Euros, but such an experienced figure at the back for Glentoran. Here is McCarran. Scored that brilliant goal a couple of years ago for Northern Ireland against the Furrows, I think it was, at Seaview. Stunning long-range effort from her.
Yeah, Chloe does normally waiting to score those spectacular goals. If she's given time and space outside the box, you know, she's guaranteed to have a strike.
And a very different role that she plays for Glentoran as opposed to the one maybe for Northern Ireland, where she's an outlet for Northern Ireland and plays a little bit deeper. Can she have more of an influence on the game domestically in that three?
Yeah, I mean, I think the three in midfield for Glentoran are full of energy, and they read off each other. Chloe is more like a kind of holding midfielder. She's a number 6, as they say. She likes to get the ball and spread it just like that over the Cara. Unfortunately, it was a bit too much, but she's a key player for them. But Jolie Andrews, I think, is one to watch as well, because she works so hard. She doesn't stop working, and you know, she links it up really well with the forwards. So I think Glentoran need to try and get her and Dino and Chloe on the ball more.
There's a real infectious enthusiasm when you talk to Jolie Andrews. She's been a fantastic goal scoring form herself as well. 3 in this run to the final. A player highly rated, was given an opportunity over in Southampton. Still looks very young, but has so much experience in the last couple of years, and has really added to her game that goal-scoring threat in recent months. Here's someone who knows certainly where the net is. Beattie, squeeze it through to Andrews. Good idea from her, but it was well defended because there was a runner on the far side. It was Kelly Crompton who got in the way. Mercy, you just get the feeling Glentoran are starting to find their rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're starting to find those little passes. The movement's a little bit better as well. But fair play to Sion. Sion aren't giving them any time on the ball, which is good. But I'd like to see Chambers stay up nice and high. As you can see, Glentoran have a real high line, so I think Sion can exploit them that way in terms of getting the ball over the top.
I think in terms of the team lineup, it's not a two up top, if you like, for Sion. They expect Chambers to drop a little bit deeper, but very much a goal-scoring threat.
Oh yes, absolutely. Young player, but she scored some great goals this season. And I know from playing Sion, they do like to go direct, which works for them because they do have the pace. But I think both Doherty and Chambers need to make sure one of them stay nice and high, so when the ball does come, there's someone there to get on the end of it.
I'm right in saying that Chambers was part of the Northern Ireland setup pre-Euros in terms of the full-time camp, and she got plenty of experience there, and that kind of gives you an indication about how highly she's rated.
Oh, absolutely. She came in full-time with us. It was great to have her on board. She's a fantastic kid, such a good nature, and you know, it really challenged her, you know, as a person and a player, and I think at the end of it she came out definitely a better player, and she'll be one for the future, and you know, she has an exciting future ahead of her.
Well, you identified a moment ago about Kelly Bailey's positional play. That just epitomised it in that last attack.
Yeah, she creates the depth for Glentoran. She's always a cover player for them.
It's a lot of responsibility as well, particularly with the counter-attacking threat that Sion possess. Given that responsibility to sit back and marshals things.
Absolutely, but she relishes in that. She's good at it. It's what she's great at, so she'll enjoy herself tonight.
Difficult one to control on this near side. I think it was Tegan Lynch. Her second spell at the club after transferring to Wexford. Re-signed for Sion in the summer transfer window, and well, I'm sure is relishing this opportunity here in another cup final. Piece for handball. Don't know if Cara Hamilton could do too much to avoid that one.
No, I don't think so. She'll be disappointed with that, but
just when there's a break in play, we can reflect on that success for Cliftonville. Obviously league champions, first time they'd ever achieved that. Must have been fantastic for the entire squad, but for you personally, having given so much to the club, and maybe some of the other players who've been there down through the years, to finally get that trophy and reach the pinnacle in women's football locally.
Yeah, it was an emotional time for us, especially the ones that's been around, but a fantastic occasion for the club and for the players, and you know, it just shows a little investment goes a long way. 2 years ago, the club was on their knees, and we got a management team come in and completely transformed it. So, yeah, it was a great occasion for everyone.
I'm sure you celebrate as well. You should. And now you're going to be off on a European adventure.
Oh yes, we're excited about that. Next August we'll be off playing Champions League. So, for a lot of us, it'll be our first time to experience it. But yeah, lots to look forward to.
Well, I'm sure everyone will wish you luck on that journey. Glentoran, of course, were involved in European competitions. So unfortunate to go out on penalties.
Great run from Jolie there.
Back to Kerry Beattie. Thought about having a pop from a long way out, and it's almost caught in two minds then, because Cara Hamilton had made a good run on the far side.
Yeah, I still think both teams haven't really settled into the game yet, and haven't really found their stride. But you know, that was the first time we've seen one of the midfield runs from Jolie try and go in behind. So I'd say we'll see more of those tonight.
Is that natural though? It tends to be chaotic at the start of a cup final.
Yeah, the players will be nervous, and it's about just fighting your feet, and once it gets settled, then we'll start to see a little bit more play from both teams.
Doesn't quite work out on the far side, and cleared by Emma McMaster. Another player who's been very, very unfortunate with injuries. He's been in and around the Northern Ireland squad on a few occasions. Has a handful of caps, having made her debut 5 years ago against Georgia, but it's been ravaged with injuries since then, and so difficult to break into that back line when you look at the quality that Kenny Shields has at his disposal in that area of the pitch.
Yeah, Emma was fantastic. Is a fantastic player. Sorry, coming through the youth structure. She was captain of the under-19s whenever we had the Euro finals here for them. But she's still young and she still has a good future ahead of her. Hopefully she'll stay injury free and try and fight to get back into the squad.
Still scoreless. Cliftonville were the only side to outscore Glentoran domestically by just 1 goal in the end. Conceded just 12, 8 clean sheets for Glentoran as they push Cliftonville all the way. Just 3 points between the sides in the end. Although Cliftonville did have the league title wrapped up in advance of that final fixture midweek. As so often is the case, it was a party feel with the trophy presentation, and sometimes you can't quite take into account those results. Having said that, though, interesting that Glentoran did play their big names in that match after we reflected on Sion Swifts resting their players midweek.
Glentoran are a team that wants to win. You know, they've won so much over the years. They're a winner all across the team, so I know for them coming out Wednesday night, the most important thing was to get the win, and that's how they played, and that's what they wanted.
Cross is just overhit by Jessica Foy. A few fans perhaps misjudged kick-off and have come in late. There's a really good crowd, particularly over to our left-hand side with some of the Glentoran supporters, and there's a drum, there's a flag, and I think we're going to be hearing that in their sleep tonight, given the fact that they're trying to keep the crowd going in the early stages here. McCarran, little injection of pace, plays it back to Foy. Tempsack crossfield ball once again. It was Nadine Caldwell making the run this time. Bailey in the air. A cultured left foot of McLaughlin, but it's Kerry Beattie who drifts past. Doesn't quite find Andrews, but then McCarran completed the move. Tweedy again, up from the back. Effort from distance. Did it take a deflection? Yes, it did. It's going to be a corner kick for Glentoran, and so much better from the Belfast club. Yeah,
I'd like to see Glen just use the width of it a little bit more. They're quite tight in there, and it's condensed, and it's tough for them to get the ball down. They have two great wingers there in Kerry Beattie and Cara Hamilton, so if they just make the pitch bigger, they'll have a lot more time and space to play in, I think.
Julie Andrews given the responsibility, and there's the view from behind the goal that Jennifer Curry has to deal with. This could well be Jennifer Curry's final game for Sion Swifts. Scottish goalkeeper who's been really impressive this season, is expected to return home after this one. Interest in her across the water, and back-to-back corner kicks for Glentoran and for Curry to deal with. McMaster's a target in there. Lifted in again, just over the top, and you can see what Jolie was thinking.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed that one out. She normally is a great deliverer of the ball in those corners. They're very dangerous in the corners as well. We've scored some good headers in there with Caldwell in recent weeks, actually. But it's a good chance for them there.
There's the first ball in, and there's the second. Just too much curl on it. So many bodies in there, though. And not dissimilar to the Sion Swifts corner kick early on when they tried to put Ashley McKinnon on the back foot.
Yeah, they're getting them right in there on top of the goalkeepers. So the goalkeepers need to make sure that they're on the ball and they're ready to get up and win it.
Hamilton heads it away. Andrews just a little bit too short in it. It's good play from Keegan, the midfielder. Interesting that it appears as if McLaughlin is peeled across to the right-hand wing rather than the left-hand one. I think she's been given a little bit of a free role at the moment. Kerry Brown on the opposite flank. Caldwell. Rogan flicks it into the path of Hamilton, who's continued her run. That was the intended target. Hamilton still battling for it, so strong a possession. Cara Hamilton. Challenge came in eventually from Naomi Donnan, 21-year-old.
This is a dangerous area.
You've identified the quality that Glentoran have from positions like this. It's going to be Bailey, I think.
Yeah.
If you look at the box, you've got Caldwell, you've got Rogan, you've got Hamilton, and Kerry Beatty's just lurking right in the shoulder of the last defender.
Sure.
Effort on goal from Bailey, trying to catch everyone out. Didn't manage to outwit Curry though this time.
She scored a cracking free kick recently in the last couple of weeks, top corner, and she scored so many of them over the years in her career. So I think she deservedly still went for that pop, but unfortunately it was just straight to the goalkeeper.
Andrews pushing. Rogan's made her way in towards the 6-yard box. Tried to play it back though instead to Jessica Foy. Bailey brilliantly picks out Beatty's lovely play from the Glens as Foy lifts it in. Can Rogan get in the end of it? Super goalkeeping, and well, Curry's hurt herself in the process. Cara Hamilton was very brave attacking that, and Curry came over the top and took a tumble.
Yeah, both players were really brave there in that 50-50. Looks like the goalkeeper's been hurt. Hopefully nothing too serious. It was a great cross in.
Lovely play on the left-hand side. All started with that pass forward from Bailey, and it's really brave from the goalkeeper. There are two Glentoran players there, Rogan and also Hamilton, but Curry got there. And here's Curry in action a little bit earlier on. Straightforward stop for a goalkeeper of her quality.
Yeah, Glentoran done really well there. They created an overload in the wide areas and got that cross in, so I'd like to see more of that from them. I think that's where they're dangerous, and that's where they can create more and more chances.
One thing that has to be pointed out, unlike the League Cup, and unlike the County Antrim Shield, you're only able to have 15 players in your squad for this one. So it means that, sorry, 16 players in your squad for this one. So it means that your substitutes are limited. You've only got 3 switches as opposed to 5. And it also means, of course, that you can't really afford to have a goalkeeper on the bench.
No, you definitely can't. It's unfortunate that the 2 players from each team has missed out tonight, but you know, it is what it is, and the teams will just be prepared in terms of what they need to do when it comes to the time for the sub. But you know, you want your goalkeepers to stay on for the full 90 minutes.
Well, Curry is back up on her feet. Isn't moving that fluently, but Amy Neal is going to take the resulting free kick instead of the keeper. Looks towards Saoirse Doherty. Seven teenagers in the Sion Swifts lineup. Picked up by Chambers and flicked inside as Chambers continues her run. Saoirse Doherty's in the middle. Chambers will be disappointed with that cross.
Yeah, it was
got
good
herself
play
in a decent position.
Good play, real good play. Good movement as well. And as you said, she will be disappointed with that. But it's good to see them getting on up the pitch and trying to create crosses.
Ava O'Neill playing in a slightly more advanced role than the one we would have expected from her. Very versatile player. Midway point to this first half in the Challenge Cup final. Still scoreless here in Belfast. Neither goalkeeper has had too much to do so far, but that could well change as the Glens win another free kick. And Sion have to be careful here. That's 3 or 4 occasions of giving away set pieces in really good areas from the Glens' point of view. Having said that, though, they haven't been able to take advantage so far.
Yes, I know that they can't give players like Andrews time or space on the ball, and I think they're trying to keep tight on the player to make sure she doesn't get those forward passes, but they just have to be careful with those free kicks.
Andrews made her way into the middle. Dealt with though, and Beattie in the follow-up, the volley just wide.
Great effort from Beattie, great effort, just wide from her. But again, another great cross in from Foy, and it just shows the danger they can have when they do have those free kicks or corners.
I think Curry had it covered just from our angle, but Beattie hit it well. Yeah, Curry looked to have it covered, but another warning sign. Glentoran starting to find her feet. Oh, it's a lovely touch from Chambers. Almost worked out to find Doherty. That duo have linked up well so far. But here is Twitty on the opposite side. Hamilton. This is the area of the pitch that, Marissa, you thought Glentoran may well have the advantage. They haven't really used that so far, though, but it's given away very cheaply, and straight away the target is Chambers up top. Should be dealt with by McMaster. No point taking any risks in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's a glimpse of what Sion Swift's game plan is tonight. You know, they're keeping that mid block. They're making it really hard for the defenders, for the midfielders to play in. And when they get a break, they're going to try and go direct over the Glentoran defence.
Credit though, it's worked. I mean, you look at the goals that Cora Chambers has scored in recent weeks, and also Saoirse Doherty. That quick counter-attacking football has started to reap rewards, and the temperature, it seems, here at Windsor Park has dropped significantly. There you can see both coaches out, Gail Redmond and also Tony Blake. Here is Jolie Andrews. Beattie. Just Rachel Rogan up ahead. Beattie's going to run at the Swifts backline. Cara Hamilton's made a run through the middle. Eventually spotted. Who's it going to fall to? Gathered by Curry.
Again, that counter-attack, a quick counter-attack from Glentoran can be very dangerous. Good movement from Cara there, and Beattie tried to get the ball to her, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them. But Sion just have to be alert to that and try and get tighter on them.
Not sure why, but we haven't really spoken about Tasman McCarter yet. She's a longer-serving player at the club, has been a rock at the back for Sion for so many years. May well be called into action now, though. Beattie cuts inside. Well closed down. That's good defending. Beattie thought it was going to open up, but quickly across came McLaughlin. All one-way traffic at the moment. Foy. Spotted Hamilton on the far side. Is that going to have enough on it? No is the answer. Chambers. It's a good tussle between herself and McMaster. And the defender comes out on top this time.
Yeah, great defender from Emma. She was strong. She kept it simple. Tried to play the ball forward there.
Caldwell. It's going to fall for Foy. Love's pushing up from the back. Hamilton's made a run into the middle. Rogan also in the penalty area, so too is Caldwell. Nice touch from Beattie to play it back to Andrews. Now it's Bailey. Everybody inside the Sion Swifts half, apart from the goalkeeper, McKinnon. Here's Caldwell. Can she thread it through? Rogan couldn't control it, and it enabled Donnan to come back and just take it off her toe. Looked to be an opening for Glentoran.
Yeah, it was good patient play from Glens. I think they need to do more of that. They have to try and move the Swifts team because they are playing pretty defensively, so they are making it harder for them.
That's super defending from Brown. It looked like she'd been beaten by Hamilton, but Brown was patient in the challenge. and denied the Northern Ireland international.
Yeah, I think Sion's kept Hamilton quiet so far.
Look how far up the pitch Emma McMaster has come. And again, it's another one of those free kicks in bad positions. They're starting to mount up, and you just feel that if there are more situations like this, eventually Glentoran will take advantage. We look back at that challenge from Kerry Brown.
Yeah, I don't think Kerry needed to make that challenge. You know, she was beside her. It is a soft free kick to give away.
I think it was actually the subsequent challenge, perhaps after that, rather than the Brown one, which has led to this free kick. A few of the Sion Swifts players felt it was harsh, but it's enabled Foy to have this opportunity. She lifts it in, and it's gone in.
What a goal.
Foy's free kick looping into the top corner. It's a goal that Sion Swifts will feel could have been avoided, should have been avoided, but Jessica Foy, who has such a remarkable history in this competition, has lifted the trophy on a number of occasions, breaks the deadlock in the 2022 decider.
Absolute quality strike from Foy. Top corner. Nothing the goalkeeper could have done about that. Brilliant.
Foy, the skipper, with the goal that has given Glentoran the advantage just before the half-hour mark. And in the next break of play, we may well get an opportunity to look at that free kick, because you felt it was a challenge that didn't have to be made. We're not sure if it was for the tackle from Brown or one a few seconds after. We'll have another look at it, but right now it's Glentoran on the attack, looking to double their advantage. Can they find 2 goals in quick succession? Really good defending from Emmy Neal.
Yeah, Sam need to settle back into it, and the big thing is
here's a challenge that led to the free kick.
Yeah, it was a silly free kick to give away. The referee done well. I mean, she kicked out from behind. She'll be disappointed with that one, especially because it's led to a goal.
Beattie alongside Jolie Andrews. Great delivery. Is there a touch? Hamilton forces a goal, whereas it then hit a defender and safely into the hands of Curry. It so easily could have been 2.
Yeah, great delivery from Andrews. Just unfortunate no one was there to get on the end of it.
And something you said early on about her delivery when she looped it over the top, obviously wanted to create a better angle and brought Kerry Beattie across on that occasion.
Yeah, she drills them in. She just is looking for someone to get on the end of it.
Interesting over in Southampton as we look back at that ball in from Andrews. It was Bailey who just didn't get enough on it. What a story that would have been if she had found a score sheet at 42 years old in a cup final. But really interesting listening to what Jolie Andrews had to say during the Euros as Cara Hamilton slipped, but such a massive opportunity for a player her age, recently turned 20, worked in a supermarket warehouse, and just having tasted that success, wanted to ensure that it wasn't a one-off, it was the start of bigger things to come in her footballing career as another effort comes in from Foy. But she was one of the young guns in the Northern Ireland squad who wanted to make the most of that opportunity, playing against some of the world's best players in Southampton. It whetted her appetite being in a full-time programme for 6 months, and will she be able to kick on now and perhaps get into the full-time game in the years to come?
Yeah, I know it's something that a lot of our young players are aspiring to, and you know they've great work rate, they're working really hard, and they definitely have the quality. So hopefully, you know, in the future they'll get picked up and hopefully play the full-time game.
Beattie plays it in, skids off the head of Andrews. It's a really interesting chat between herself and Rebecca McKenna over at the training base that we were filming during the tournament, and it was the way she was so candid and the way she spoke about the red carpet, for example, getting off the plane, and how she'd heard the stories from maybe some of the older members of the squad about how things used to be, and she didn't know any different because she'd always had the perks, if you like, of being an international footballer, where she'd heard the stories about having to pay to play international football and the struggles and those long periods without victory. She'd experienced the big moments, the games here against England, the packed stadium, qualifying for a major tournament, and of course those magical evenings in Southampton against Norway, Austria and England. Lovely flick inside from Doherty, almost worked out into the path of Chambers. Tweedy under no real pressure, tries to thread it through. What a pass that is. Flag stays down. Andrews makes it two. Brilliant finish from Jolie Andrews, who found space, but credit to Sarah Tweedy. That pass, that vision, created the opportunity.
Yeah,
Jolie Andrews did the rest.
Yeah, great pass from Tweedy, but Jolie Andrews, and we spoke earlier about her energy and her movement, and it was a great run from her, and well spotted from Tweedy to see her run, and perfect pass and a great finish.
Glentoran in control. Difficult to tell from that angle because there may well have been another defender back. Is it Tasman McCarter, or is perhaps actually the left back who is playing on Andrews? Difficult to tell from that camera angle. No real appeals from the Sion Swiss back line. Defender comes across. Curry, unfortunately, she got her fingertips to it, but nothing was going to stop Andrews.
Yeah, great finish. She's been scoring recently. Scored a cracker against us on Wednesday night, and you know she'll be delighted with that. But again, you know, as we say, runs make passes, and it was a great run and a fantastic pass from Tweedy.
Well, there's a look at it, but just off shot. I think it's inside. Is it Neil perhaps?
Yeah, I think O'Neill might have kept her on there. She was a bit deep compared to the back four.
2-0 and a little break in play as Sion Swifts consider their options. There may well be a rejig. Conversation between the management team and I think it was Crompton over the far side. A couple of substitutes warming up and a 2-0 big task. Having said that though, Sion did come from 2-0 down in the semi-final to go through on penalties, so they have overcome adversity before in this competition this year.
Yeah, I think it's a bit unfortunate for Sion to be 2-0 down at this stage. They've worked hard, they've tried to stop Glentoran from playing, but I think that free kick that Jess scored, I think that's kind of rattled them a little bit. But there's a massive gap between their midfield and their forward. So I think at half-time their coach will have to try and make that gap smaller because it is a massive pitch and it's tough to get the ball from their own half up to the forward line. Yeah,
Lynch unable to do so on that occasion. Here is Tweedy once more, just 17, remember. Started about half of Glentoran's game so far this season as it's mopped up by Caldwell, and all of a sudden Glentoran now look in complete control.
Yeah, they're starting to play with patience and make the passes.
McMaster looks for Hamilton. Forced forward by McLaughlin. Difficult one for Doherty to try and get on. It was too close to the goalkeeper. Wonder will Sion attempt to push up the pitch a little bit more and maybe not play as much in the counter-attack.
Yeah, they're very deep, and it is tough, you know, if they're trying to play in the counter, it's hard to get that ball over at Glen's defence.
Neil plays it out, but it's won back by a Glentoran player. Here's McCarran, Caldwell. One thing that I have to say in Caldwell's defence there, the two jerseys are fairly similar. I mean, there's if you're a player on the ground, it's navy and dark green, and it is tricky enough perhaps to try and pick out some of your teammates, especially when you're put under as much pressure as the Swiss players have been.
I think she was just expecting Cara to make that run down the line, but unfortunately for her, Cara was already in the middle, so she wasn't there.
Do you think I'm being a little bit generous?
Yeah.
McMaster. Bailey in the short sleeves and gloves as Foy tries to lift it over the top, and as the game has evolved, Andrews is playing in a more and more advanced role. I suppose when you're scoring goals like she is, you can justify being that far up the pitch.
Yeah, Andrews doesn't stop working. She works so hard, and as you can see, she never ever stops running. She's always trying to get on the ball, always trying to make runs in behind and to create things for the team.
Here's what you wanted to see here. Cara Hamilton powering down the right hand side.
Yeah,
Donnan has done really well, but Hamilton still gets her cross in, cut back towards Andrews. Then a really good challenge from Donnan, who's hurt herself battling with Cara Hamilton. Little clip ball forward, and once more Curry will mop those up all evening.
Yeah, two great challenges from Sion there to get that away. But I think that's the first time Glentoran have got Cara on the ball in 1v1. I think they need to try and get her more into the game. She's definitely a danger player for them, and you know she'll drill those crosses in when she gets it past the player.
Look at the pace of Doherty. Forced Bailey into making the decision. There are some of the Glentoran supporters. Speaking to their management team, they didn't do anything too dramatic today. They kind of had their normal match day process and a meeting before the game. Sion Swifts met for a team meeting a little bit earlier at midday. They met locally at a restaurant, had a lunch, went through their analysis, spent a little bit of time together before making the trip up to Belfast, and it's a big occasion.
Yeah, the big thing for both teams is about enjoying the occasion as well. And
haven't had too many opportunities. I guess just flicked over the top. Amy Neal got her head to it. Almost got too much on it at that near post area.
Yeah, I was unlucky. Great ball in from Brown. Good opportunity for Sion. They have to keep believing, they have to keep probing and trying to push forward, because they will get more chances.
That's two corner kicks, and they've looked threatening both times.
Yeah. Yeah, they're dangerous. Their movements hard to pick up, you know, when you're playing against them. So it's something they'll be looking at to try and get a goal from, I think.
McMaster.
The good thing about this game being on a Saturday evening is a lot of the girls, you know, we're all amateur players. A lot of the girls normally work during the day before they play a match on a Wednesday evening. So I'm sure it was nice to wake up and fully prepare and be mentally prepared for the game tonight.
Played forward by Tweedy, may well have a little bit too much on it. Good defending from Tasman McCarter. Something we spoke about recently, you brought up in an interview. How important do you feel that is, not just for the players on the pitch, because they're the most important people, but for the families and the supporters in the stands? Because Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, it doesn't suit everyone, especially if you've got kids.
No, it doesn't suit everyone, and as you say, especially if you have kids. But for the women's game, we attract so many young families, and you know we take so much pride in that. And unfortunately, if our game's being played at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, it doesn't suit young families to come and watch. So hopefully in the future, if we move to weekend games, then we can get more young people out to watch us and more families, and therefore make a better and bigger fan base at all the games. It's
been so obvious at Northern Ireland's internationals over the past 18 months or so that the amount of families, the amount of young girls and young boys as well attending. So perhaps that might be something that football authorities could well look at and trying to develop the game on and off the pitch. Obviously there's massive excitement around women's football. Speculation that it may well go semi-professional as well. Obviously at the moment it is completely amateur. The players can't be played, they can't be on professional contracts. But when you look at the performances of some of the players at the Euros and the fact that cross-channel clubs will have looked at them and will have looked to pick them up and maybe bring them across to full-time football, it's a sustainability issue for local teams. and something that the likes of Glentoran have been very eager to look at, and also Sion Swift's interesting to hear that they're very much on board with that approach.
Yeah, I think it'd be great for the game. It's going to take it to another level. It will be tough for some of the smaller clubs, and as you say, the sustainability of it. But you know, we have to look to see what's best for the players. We qualified for our first major tournament with majority of the team being amateurs. So just think about what we could do if we had more of our players playing full-time capacity. So yeah, the next kind of 3 to 5 years will be an interesting time for the game, I think.
Even when you see the likes of Demi Vance going to Leicester City, and Lauren Wade and Jackie Burns as well going over to Reading. Great to see former domestic players getting that chance to make full-time careers in the game. And I suppose when you look at the age profile of a lot of the players in the squad, real opportunities out there. Kerry Beattie obviously on the pitch has had a spell in Scotland. A few others have been over. Chloe McCarron as well. Was it Birmingham City, I think? So it's certainly a viable opportunity as we see the free kick going in towards the edge of the area. Goal before half-time, which certainly puts Sion Swifts back in it, but you feel that a Glentoran third could pretty much ensure that the cup stays in East Belfast. Rogan wants that, but she forces it forward.
Yeah, Sion have to make sure they don't concede anymore. Another free kick giveaway.
Well, our live television game last night, it was all over in the first half. Larne scoring 4, 3 in the first 20 minutes, and it just left Crusaders with too much to do in the second half, which is a little bit of a non-event, but a 2-0 this game still very, very much in the melting pot. There could be plenty of drama to come. A third, though, just makes it that little bit tougher when you're going in for the half-time team talk.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. 2-0 lead is probably the worst lead you could have, because once the other team gets one goal, then that's when the doubts kick in. So if Sion could get the half-time here, still only 2, then they've got it all to play for in the second half.
It's a cliche, but the next goal is crucial.
Absolutely.
McCarron, she'll just sit there and dictate play all night long.
Yeah, you can see here in the left side of the pitch, Jess Forey's in acres of space.
Final minute of this first half.
I think for most of the game it's been pretty even. Just Glentoran had, once they got that free kick.
Oh, that's right, in the edge of the area. Is advantage being played? Referee says he's just happy enough with it, but it was a challenge that may well have been right on the edge of the penalty area. And I wonder, my first reaction was that the referee played advantage, but Glentoran didn't really have any.
No, they didn't. I actually thought I was a bit in the box there, but no.
So that was my first reaction. But Glentoran still in possession and still in the attack. Was that little bit of a let-off? I wonder, can we look back at that one in the next couple of seconds? 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. There's confirmation of that. And here's the incident. And just it's right on the edge of the box. It happened very quickly there, but the positioning of the referee, and it looked as if she was signaling an advantage. Difficult to tell from where we are, but
I think Sion got away with one there, you know.
There weren't really any appeals though from a Glentoran point of view, so maybe I wonder, was it a fair challenge? Difficult to tell. Anyway, it's not a penalty kick. Play continues, and it's 2-0 to Glentoran. Beattie tries to flick it through the middle. McCarter though read it well. Doherty asking quite a bit from Chambers. Doherty's continuous run. Big chance for Sion Swifts. Just wide. Oh, it's the first real opportunity they've had on goal. It was a duo of Chambers and Doherty.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Great play from Sion, and I think that's been what they've wanted all this first half, is to get those two combining, and it was so unfortunate
the
that
2-on-1
target.
Waited for the goalkeeper to commit herself just the wrong side of the post. Oh, and that would have been the perfect way for them to sign off the first half and reduce the deficit.
It should give them a bit of confidence though here going into the second half. they definitely can exploit this Glentoran defence.
And just a sign that Sion have plenty of quality up top. And there is going to be time for the free kick. We've played almost the allotted 2 minutes. Just a little flick from Doherty, took it over the head of Bailey, and then back to the striker. Oh, when you look at it from that angle, it's so close.
I think she just opened her hips up too much there, didn't she? She's done everything else right, just hit the target.
Yeah, just waited for the goalkeeper to commit herself. This is another look at that challenge a moment ago. It's certainly inside the box. But at the break, it is 2-0 Glentoran. The 2 goals arriving in quick succession. The first from Jessica Foy, the second from Jolie Andrews after a brilliant pass from Twitty. And is that a fair reflection of the first half, or will Sion feel it was a little bit more even than that?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more even than 2-0. You know, Jess Foy's free kick was a little bit of quality, and to give them that edge and the confidence to go and kind of settle in the game. The second goal was again a great run from Andrews, and fair play to Tweedy for seeing that run, and it was a perfect ball. But you know, Sion are still in this, as we've seen. That chance they had there at the end, so they just need to come out and keep believing, and hopefully having that first 45 minutes over them, they'll come out with a little bit more confidence.
Well, there's confirmation of the half-time score. Glentoran leading Sion Swifts by 2-0 in this Challenge Cup final. Let's look back at some of the best action from the first half. Took a wee while to get going, it has to be said. This is a foul in the build-up, this free kick. McMaster won it. Referee spotted the infringement from Chambers and then lifted into that top corner by Jessica Foy. So difficult for the goalkeeper to deal with, particularly with the likes of McMaster and Cara Hamilton right on top of her. Foy judging it to perfection. And how will Sion Swifts feel about that free kick initially? Do you still feel it's the referee's decision is the right one?
I think it was a bit soft. Just seen there, Chambers kind of stopped and held her hands up to say, you know, I'm not touching her, but I suppose she did come in the back of her, and she did fall, so I can see why the referee gave it.
All about the pass, but still a lot to do for Jolie Andrews, but finished clinically into that top right-hand corner. Closed down by Neil, but couldn't quite get there, and lifted into the roof of the net. Brilliant ball from Tweedy.
Yeah, great first touch, and she was very composed there. Dragged the goalkeeper out, just dipped it over. Fantastic finish from Andrews. And you know, she's probably been the player of the match for me so far. She's been busy, she's been working hard, making those runs in behind, trying to get on the ball and trying to make things happen for Glentoran.
That's late on in the half. But then that big opportunity, virtually the last kick of the opening 45 minutes. Chambers and Doherty linking up top. And the Sion Swifts striker inches away from reducing the deficit at the break. Closed down by the goalkeeper, McKinnon.
McKinnon done really well there. I think she made that angles really hard for her.
Half-time here in this Irish Challenge Cup final. It is Glentoran 2, Sion Swifts Ladies 0. We'll be back for the second half very soon. Welcome back to Windsor Park in this Challenge Cup final. Glentoran 2 to the good at half-time. Things would have been oh so different had Saoirse Doherty managed to steer her effort the other side of the post. The two teams are on the pitch. We're just waiting for the match referee at the moment. And the officials make their way out of the tunnel. Don't think there have been any changes in the break for either side. Just having a quick look at the two lineups. Northern Ireland captain Marissa Callahan on co-commentary for this one. And what will have been said in those two dressing rooms, Marissa?
You know, this next 45 minutes is a big 45 minutes for both clubs. We spoke about it there at half time. Glentoran normally come out absolutely firing in the second half. So I hope Sion took a little bit of confidence from that effort they had at the end, and you know, they just go for it now. It's still open. You know, it's a 2-goal lead, but it's all to play for still, I think, for both teams. But both teams will want to go out and try and win it.
There's Gail Redmond in her technical area, speaking with one of our fellow coaches. Just waiting for Tony Blake to emerge as well, the Sion Swiss manager. Speaking to Tony, he was talking about his father was a very good player for Derry City and 3 times missed out on Irish Cup finals through injury. In a glittering 11-year career, he has an FAI Cup final winner's medal himself. Tony Blake and his family have just about every medal in the game, but he said he would love an Irish Cup winner's medal just to complete the collection, given how unfortunate his dad was when it came to deciders. Played for Derry City between 1961 and 1972 when they left the Irish League, and won everything else, just not the cup final. Cara Hamilton's on the deck, I think.
Yes, just
it's a right ankle, maybe.
Cara's tough, she'll shake it off.
Great athlete, Cara Hamilton. Isn't moving that well, it has to be said, but it's going to continue anyway. Jess Foy scored that first goal for Glentoran, lifted this cup 12 months ago. Glentoran have a cracking Irish Cup record. They've won the last 3 finals. 2020 actually wasn't played because of COVID, but this is their 17th decider. The 17th final in this competition, and it's the 11th time that Glentoran have been involved. They've only lost once. That was 11 years ago in 2011. Sion Swift's only final, of course, was 2017, a famous occasion for the club. They defeated Newry City 1-0 in that game. MacArthur and Crompton, 2 players still involved now.
Yeah, Glentoran have a great history of winning trophies, and that they've been a top side in the women's game for a long time. I think tonight they'll want to make it 4 in a row. But for me, they have to try and, you know, get their players in the game, the likes of Cara and Andrews, and be a wee bit more direct against the Sion team.
Here's Brown, plays it inside. Nice first touch from Lynch. Haven't really been seeing her in an attacking sense yet, Tegan Lynch.
No, she's playing very deep in a 2, I see.
But does that have a lot to do with the quality of the trio she's playing against in there? Just doesn't want to maybe take too many risks?
Yeah, they're trying to stop them from playing. They know that the Glentoran midfield 3 are real tough to play against.
Free kick on the far side for the Glens. Little drag back on Jessica Foy, who scored the opener, as I mentioned a moment ago. Then second was a lovely move. The player in the ball right now, Tweedy, with a brilliant pass to pick out Jolie Andrews, and she picked out the top corner a few seconds later. That made it 2. As Kelly Bailey lifts it towards the far side, and Beattie, good strength to find Caldwell. Lynch, Doherty, turns straight into Bailey. Does well to hold on to it initially, but then it's won back by Andrews. Tempted ball, looking for Cara Hamilton. Picked up instead by Crompton. Does look as if Sion Swifts are trying to move it a bit quicker in the second half.
Yeah, they definitely are. They just need to watch they have a massive gap between the midfield and the striker. So they need to try and make that smaller. They need to try and push on up the pitch a little bit more, because everything's being played in front of the back four of Glentoran.
Temperatures certainly dipped here once again under the floodlights at the National Stadium here at Windsor Park. McCarran flicks it out towards the left-hand side. That's asking far too much of Foy. In terms of the routes to the final, Glentoran and those supporters had a bit of a thriller in the second round. That was the round that both these clubs entered the competition. A 4-3 win against Lisburn Rangers. A couple of goals there for Caldwell, one for Foy and one for Beattie, as Hamilton attempts to link up with Andrews. Can't keep it in play. Then in the quarter-finals, it was a resounding 7-0 victory against Ballyclare Comrades Ladies. Again, a couple for Hamilton, a couple for Beattie, a couple for Andrews, and one for McDade, who unfortunately misses this game. Then the semi-final, a 4-0 win over Linfield. Andrews, Hamilton, Caldwell and Bailey all on the score sheet. For Sion Swifts, a little bit more straightforward in their second round tie. 6-0 winners over Lisburn Ladies. Zoe McGlynn with 2, Kirsha Doherty, Kerry Brown and also Cora Chambers there. They were then given a bye in the quarter-finals when St James's Swifts withdrew from the competition. And in the semis, it was dramatic penalty shootout success after it finished 2-2 between themselves and Crusaders. And as I mentioned earlier, in that game, they were 2-0 down. Well, that proved to be an omen in this second half. Here's Brown. Finds that little gap and receives the ball from McLaughlin. Free kick in a very central position and a yellow card.
I think that's a little glimpse of what Brown can do. It's good to see her more in a central role. She's a real good, strong player, and she can make things happen for Sion. So hopefully we can get her on the ball a little bit more.
Skipped through a couple of players, and I think it's Chloe McCarran who's booked for that challenge. There was certainly a booking from the referee. I'm not sure if it was Caldwell or McCarran. And this is a long way from goal. Kerry Brown fancies it though. Gets it on target.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult, wasn't it? It's a long way out.
She had a brilliant League Cup final. Kerry Brown.
Kerry likes to shoot from distance.
But we haven't seen her too much in the final third. Is that down to her own play tonight, or is it down to the way that Glentoran have tried to counteract that?
I think it's the way Sion's set up. She's more in a wider kind of role than normal. I think she's usually in the centre of the park for Sion.
Yeah, Zoe McGlynn played there earlier on the season. She's headed back to the States on a college scholarship, and here is Bailey. Seen it all in the local game. Recycled by Rogan. Opportunity for Foy to lift it in. It's a good ball and it's good defending, brave defending from Donnan. Almost played into their own goal. It was a wicked delivery in from the left-hand side, and there was a player lurking just behind the defender, but credit to Naomi Donnan.
Yeah, Glens are trying to create overloads on that left-hand side. Jess Foy with the overlap. That time she actually got the cross in, and Andrews made the overlap. So there's lots of movement and lots of play out that left side at the start of the second half.
Well, we know what is going to happen here. You expect Julia Andrews will drop it right on top of the goalkeeper. Rogan's in there trying to make a nuisance of herself, and just as I say that, she doesn't do it.
I think
makes
the
a better
single,
angle. Eventually is played in, hits it, the referee, and it's going to be a drop ball, and Sion Swift's ball after the clearance from Brown ricocheted off the official.
I think the signal for the ball and tap the goalkeeper was 2 arms, and notice she didn't put any arms up there. So
see, that's the kind of insight we pay for. That's what we want to hear. There's confirmation of that yellow card for Chloe McCarran. See, that's the kind of things that we don't spot. That's the insight of Northern Ireland captain Marissa Callahan.
Well,
getting me out of jail a wee bit, a wee bit there.
I think it's always a danger ball, Jolie, getting it on top of the goalkeeper, but they tried something different there with the short.
Rogan to McCarran, she loses out. McLaughlin attempting to thread it through 3 bodies at the back for Glentoran, just the one from Sion Swift's Kirst Doherty.
Real smart defending from Billy there. She always provides that cover and has that extra bit of depth to make it hard for the attacker to run into space. But better play from Sion.
At what point do you feel that they might go for it? You know, they might start to push the likes of Kerry Brown further forward and maybe push up the likes of Naomi McLaughlin as well, somebody who's capable of providing a threat in the final third.
It looks like they're staying with the same game plan to try and get on that transition. But as you say, they're trying to move the ball a little bit quicker. But if they can win it and try and combine first before they go in behind, then it'll give them more of a chance.
Cara Hamilton's cross, cut out by McCarter, and hammered clear by Crompton. So much experience, just 26 years old, Kelly Crompton. Lovely touch from Beattie to take that one down. And here is Andrews, scored a second goal, of course, nips inside still. Andrews unable to link up with a teammate and away by Amy Neal, another teenager. 1 goal in the league for Amy Neal, one of the first names in the team sheet. Has played a lot over the last couple of seasons, and here is a change coming up. Is that Casey Howe, I think?
Yeah.
Coming on. Another player who's been unlucky with injuries and has been making a massive impact off the bench. Casey Howe, she replaces experienced Rachel Rogan. A lot of people expected her to start this game, but it's always felt that she provides that spark off the bench as well, and what an asset to have. Yeah,
I think Casey's been struggling a little bit with injury the last few weeks, but what a player to come on. And it's good to see Beattie back in that natural number 9 position. There'll definitely be a goal in this for her if they can get it out wide and get the crosses in.
Provides a real focal point through the middle, Beattie. Here's McLaughlin, again asked a question. Goalkeeper called it though. Good communication at the back.
It's much better from Sion, I think. I think if they can get it into the midfield and kind of combine that way before they try the ball in behind, they'll get a little bit more success.
Carter decided to take it down instead of let it drift through to the goalkeeper, but it's worked out for a throw-in on the far side.
McLaughlin's at acres of space there if they could just get her on the ball more.
So much quality in the ball as well. Now McLaughlin, former Republic of Ireland underage international. I say former, she's still an underage international, has just moved up past under 17. Youngest member of the starting lineup. Player real quality. Here is another 17-year-old. Tweedy. Crompton can't get under control, and neither can Andrews. Here is the midfielder we were speaking about a moment ago, McLaughlin, and then a little clip ball from Crompton doesn't find its intended target to Kerry Brown this near side. McMaster looks so assured alongside Bailey. Little slip, that's happened to quite a few players in that area of the pitch. As Foy glides past another, produces a brilliant ball to pick out Hamilton.
what a
Her
pass.
touch let her down. Brilliant pass from Foy, and you just expected Hamilton to score, just couldn't get it under control.
Yeah, it was a great run from Cara on the blind side of the defender, and you know, Jess put in a perfect ball for her, but unfortunately she get it on in the back of the net there. I thought the goalkeeper done really well, to be honest. She came out and made herself big, made it hard for Cara.
Yeah, closed her down so quickly, and given at this stage of the evening, there's maybe a little bit of dew almost on the pitch. I'm not too sure if it's skidded off the surface just as Cara Hamilton trying to get it under control.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed with that. She would expect herself to, you know, to get a good strike on that one, but you know, I'm sure she'll have more chances coming here.
Amy Neal lifts it forward. Just looked as if Chambers was going to get in behind. Here's Hamilton again. McLaughlin, so graceful in possession, clips it inside. No nonsense defending from Bailey. Nice touch there from Andrews to find Howe, who's now taken up residence in the left hand side. McCarron wins it back. Sandswifts felt that should have been a free kick. Referee felt otherwise. Foy, brave defending. This time from Neal. Another free kick.
I feel like it's going to be real difficult for Sion if they don't change the game plan, because it looks like they're defending with 6 and just trying to attack with a 4, which is really hard to attack against that Glentoran team with just the 4 players.
Do you have sympathy with Ava O'Neill here? Perhaps we might get a chance to see it after the free kick as Casey Howe stands over it, but pleading her innocence after that challenge. And it's in virtually the same position in the pitch on the opposite side to the one that Jessica Foy managed to score from in the first half.
Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous position.
An hour played. Well defended by Brown. Recycled by Caldwell, who links up with Hamilton. Cross comes Crompton again.
Yeah, well out there. I thought great defending, closed that down, didn't give her any time.
Here's a challenge.
Yeah, it was soft.
Looked a bit like a 50-50.
Don't think she's done anything wrong there.
I think that's it. That's a point that Ava O'Neill's making. Nothing comes from it this time. Here's Andrews. Picks it up. Space to run into. Options left and right. Just apologised Jolie Andrews because she elected not to play it in towards Beattie before the cross headed that area. Away only as far as Hamilton. Might get an effort on goal, struck it well, denied by the woodwork. The crossbar comes to Sion's. Swift's rescue. A rasping effort from Cara Hamilton, inches away from making it 3.
She's getting closer, isn't she? You can just feel that there's going to be another opportunity for her.
Hit this so early. Skipped past Neil, I think, and had the goalkeeper beat.
Yeah.
Change coming up. Just waiting to see confirmation of that switch. There's also activity on the Glentoran bench. Let's look at an effort again on goal. Hamilton so close. It's Tara O'Connor who's come on. Tara O'Connor Farron. She'll operate up top, and it looks like it's more likely to be a top 3 as the referee took a little bit of a tumble. Good idea from McCarron.
Yeah.
Just didn't managed to wrap her foot round it enough.
Try to get Beattie in behind there. Unfortunately, it didn't come off, but
looks like Jenna McKerney is about to come on. A player really highly thought of at Glentoran. Has had to be patient in terms of her opportunities at this level. But has managed to make a real impact off the bench. She's studying accountancy. Is an academy graduate. Has come through the system at Glentoran. And she's going to come on in this cup final. And it's a replacement of Tweedy, who can be very happy with her performance on the right-hand side. Obviously played a massive part in that goal a little bit earlier for Jolie Andrews, and on comes McKerney.
I'd say Jenna would be delighted that she's on and getting some time in this final. Twitty didn't put a foot wrong tonight, but I think it's good to freshen up the legs.
Andrews spotted the opportunity and lifted it just over the top.
Sion just need to be wary of that, I think. The players are getting some time in front of the goal, and once that happens, they're not scared to take a chance, so they have to make sure they get tighter.
Crowd well wrapped up there. McCarran. Sorry, Caldwell trying to link up with McCarran. Really good turn from Kerry Brown. Tries to glide past the midfielder. Almost 1,500 fans inside the stadium for this one, and the Sion contingent voiced their displeasure at that last decision.
It's good to see that Sion's put Carrie Brown back in the middle of the park.
That's where you feel she's most effective?
Yeah, absolutely. They need to get her more on the ball.
On this near side, it's Chambers who can't find a way past the substitute McKerney. So Glentoran have made 2 of their switches. Just a 1 change for Sion Swifts. Chambers can't find a way through. And I think there were 3 Glentoran players around her and felt that she was also fouled in the process, but decision doesn't go her way, and you just feel this is going to be a crucial period of the game for Sion Swifts right now.
Yeah, Glenn's is quieting down a little bit, I think. So Sion need to take this opportunity.
In the final quarter of the game. Just over 20 minutes left of this cup final. Cara Hamilton denied by the crossbar moments ago. Cuts inside. Attempting to link up with her international teammate Beattie.
It'd be good to see Cara using the width a little bit more. She keeps coming inside, but there's so much space out wide.
Howe has a pop. That tells you all you need to know about the confidence with which Casey Howe is playing.
Yeah, Casey likes to...
You kind of get the impression she's determined to make an impact off the bench and almost prove the management wrong for not giving her a starting spot.
Yeah, she likes to get on the ball and cut inside and take those shots. She's a confident young player. She's not scared to hit a strike when it's on.
Here's Hamilton. Again drifts inside, but spot a little bit of a gap through the middle. Beattie. This could finish it. Just wide. Did it take a touch? She felt it did. Referee, though, and their assistant saying no. You can see the reaction of the Glentoran players.
Yeah, they're not happy. was
Kerry
good play
Beattie
from
feels
Glentoran
that
there.
she was tonight. Really good play from Hamilton. So patient. Now, is this a save? Oh, I think Curry gets something on that.
Yeah, I think so. The reaction of the players proved that one, I think.
Lynch squeezes it across to McLaughlin. It's good strength from the substitute O'Connor Farron. McLaughlin can't link up with a teammate on the far side, and all of a sudden it's back towards Beattie, and there's some defending to do.
Yeah, she needed to lift that one over the defence there, but instead it went in front of them, which is give Glens now the chance.
High, another pot shot from her. Another example of what you're referring to. Will those Glentoran supporters be seeing another cup raised in about half an hour's time? Looks that way at the moment. Away by Neil. But all Sion Swifts needs an opportunity, just like they showed at the end of the first half. They do have the firepower up top to cause problems.
Yeah, and there's still plenty of time. Still plenty of time for them.
20 minutes to go. Confirmation in the top left-hand corner of your screen. McLaughlin. You feel if something's going to happen, she's going to be involved in. Lovely turn. Seemed to run out of space, but was caught in the process. And well, these are the set pieces that you feel Sion Swifts have to make the most of.
Yeah, Naomi was waiting on an option there from another midfielder to maybe come in and give her a pass. She didn't know where to go, so she tried to kind of take it on. But she's won a free kick for her team, so hopefully they can get a good cross in here and get an opportunity.
McCarter's up from the back. Also, Tegan Lynch is an imposing figure in there. Brown, another target. Here it comes. Bailey. How many times have I said it? In the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Gets it away for the corner kick.
Great defender. Great defender. Always wins those first balls.
Not the tallest player as well, but just marshals that area and just seems to have that ability to mop things up whenever it's needed. Could well be called into action now from this corner kick. So many bodies forward. Virtually everyone inside the Glentoran penalty area. Well defended though. I think it was Foy who got ahead to it. Back in again first time. That's another good ball. Claimed by the goalkeeper, McKinnon. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, two real good deliveries, but Foy and McKinnon done really well there and just getting first to it.
Andrews. Unable to thread it through. Sion Swifts management will know that his side have produced last gasp heroics before. They've come from behind in cup finals to win them. Already with that one trophy this season. The League Cup decider was played just before the Euros actually, against Cliftonville. A number of the senior players not available for the North Belfast club because they had bigger plans later on in the summer. Here's Hamilton. Cuts inside to Andrews. No real pressure on her.
Well read.
Couldn't find Hives and acres of space, as you say. Brilliantly read by the defender. Gaps starting to emerge. High. Bundle of energies is coming on. Foy charges forward. Two in the middle for Glentoran. McCarter well positioned to clear them. Hamilton. High.
Oh, great save.
Super stop. This time the left foot of Casey Howe, and Curry was equal to it.
I think Casey's been enjoying herself since she come on, taking plenty of shots. That one was close, a good save from goalkeeper.
You never want to have that super sub tag, but if you're a manager and you're looking for a spark off the bench, it certainly provides that.
Yeah, sometimes in a game, you know, it goes flat and you need someone to come on and just really push the game on and add a little bit of spark. And I think Casey's done that the last few minutes for them.
Ball in from Andrews is a good one. Again, the goalkeeper equal to it. Mentioned it could be Jennifer Curry's final game for Sion Swifts, but she's been excellent for the County Tyrone club.
Yeah, she's had a solid game tonight. She's been fantastic all season for them. I'd just like to see Sion just take the game here, the Glentoran, in the last 15 minutes. Still very deep.
You wonder, will they take that gamble? Will they push up? Will they commit players forward? Will they risk conceding a third? As if Casey Howe's going to have another pop. Back to McMaster. She hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Everything is going through Jolie Andrews. Hamilton. There's the injection of pace. Runs the whole way across. Cara Hamilton, nothing stopping her before. Really good challenge from Neil.
Great challenge, strong.
And now the counter-attack could be on. Chambers sliding to keep it in play, but the tackle on Doherty is pulled back for the free kick. Do you feel there's a Sion Swifts goal in this one? I
think if they press them higher and just go for it here in the next 15, they definitely have a chance to create opportunities. It's just the very limited chances when they win the ball because they're so deep.
It's a cup final. These moments don't come too often in any player's career. Chambers just unable to keep it in play. It's unfortunate. Ran out of space. She's been starved a little bit of opportunities. Cora Chambers, 11 goals in the league, 3 in this cup run as well, mentioned earlier. Again, same situation.
Yeah, she's getting a little bit frustrated there. You can tell by her body language.
Such a positive player, always looking to skip past an opponent.
Yeah, she likes to take players on and create chances for her team.
Beattie. Final touch. Actually looked to be off Chambers potentially, but the decision has gone the way of Sion Swifts. A club that has been synonymous with the women's game for a number of years. Caldwell across to Andrews though. This is an opportunity for Glentoran now to push up. Some tired bodies out there. And we all know that Howe's going to want to attack the full back, but it's really good defending, and there are numbers over here. It's Brown.
Great ball from Brown.
Doherty. Can she get there ahead of Bailey? Not this time.
Again, Bailey providing the cover.
Here's a change, and it's going to be Cora Chambers, the striker, who makes way. I think it's Clara Quigg.
Yeah.
Another very highly rated young player from Sion Swifts, just 17, very intelligent, underage international as well. Left-footed player. Frustrating night for Cora Chambers. She'll have other occasions in the years to come. Still only 18. just over 10 minutes remaining. 10 minutes for Sion Swifts to find that spark and perhaps set up a grand finale, or you also feel it with their Glentoran goal, and this one is over.
Yeah, the next goal's massive if another one comes. But it's good to see some fresh legs come on. A natural left-footed player on the left-hand side for Sion. Hopefully he'll kick off a little spark for them.
You would say that as a lefty?
Oh, why? They say we're special.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's certainly plenty of the Northern Ireland squad. It's remarkable how many left-footed players are in the starting lineup. A massive asset from set pieces, and it certainly showed when you saw the likes of yourself and Demi Vance and Rachel Furness and players like that in the lineup, really reaping the rewards of it. Rebecca Holloway's another in the international setup.
McGuinness, Wade, lots of lefties.
Yeah. Well, it has proved to be very successful, and that balance will now be provided for Sion Swifts with the latest arrival of Clara Quigg. Right now, though, I think they take a goal with a right foot or left foot ahead, anything. Tegan Lynch is a little bit unfortunate. She turns straight into Jolie Andrews. McCarran. Cross to Foy. Her touch was a little bit heavy, but just about got away with it. Real pressure being put on, good pressure being put on. Once more though, Bailey denying the fullback. She powered forward. Beating, trying to get on her right foot. Forced it goalwards, follow up from Hamilton. Driven in low and held on to by Curry.
You know, you have to give some credit to Sion too tonight. We've spoke about how young of a squad they are, but they've made it really hard for Glentoran. And you know, I think they've kept the likes of Hamilton and that quiet in the midfield three.
I think that's is it Crompton again, who's been involved in 3 or 4 occasions in quick succession. Put her body in the line.
Yeah, she's a real strong, no fear player.
Yellow for Jolie Andrews. No complaints from her. As time continues to tick down. Starting to see little gaps emerging. I think there's going to be another change for Glentoran. See a substitute preparing to come on the far side. Free kick's going to take place before all that though. Amy Neal lifts it forward. Nadine Caldwell got her toe to it. Cross to Foy, and then see 3 or 4 Glentoran players looking to make the run. The furthest forward is Beattie. Marshall by McCarter.
Yeah, it was a good run from Beattie to try to get across the defender there, but unfortunately the pass was just a little too far for her.
Andrews gives it away. Here's a substitute. O'Connor Farron. Had just too much on it. And here's going to be another change, I think. That'll be Glentoran's 3rd and final one. Off comes the experienced Nadine Caldwell. And it's Shannon Dunn who comes on. Shannon Dunn's been at the Glens for the last couple of years, transferred from Derry City women's setup. Travels up and down to East Belfast to represent Glentoran. 27 now. Was a starter for much of last year, but has struggled to force her way into the lineup as a real leader as well. Someone who's certainly very well thought of again at Glentoran, and has provided plenty of positivity despite perhaps not being in the starting lineup week in, week out. Yeah. She's going to get a few minutes.
I think she's a great asset to the squad, and she can play centre half or midfield.
Chance for Sion Swifts. Is this the moment? Oh, what a great save. It's Naomi McLaughlin who was denied. Looked as if they were going to pull one back, but Glentoran survived. And that is exactly what you wanted to see from Sion Swifts.
Yeah, it was a great strike there, and what a save from McKinnon. Fantastic save.
Just got her fingertips to it and pushed it onto the crossbar. Both sides have hit the woodwork. Back in again. Sion Swifts piling on the pressure. Driven across goal.
McKinnon hasn't had much to do, but when she's been asked the question, you know, she's done really, really well. So credit to her tonight.
This is looked from just behind the goal. Might have even taken a little bit of a deflection as well. Tipped on to the crossbar. Those are the moments that Sion Swifts may well look back on and feel, if luck had gone their way, it could be 2-2.
Yeah, they've had two real good chances in this game.
But at the moment, it looks like the holders are going to ensure that the trophy remains in East Belfast for another 12 months. Referred to that fantastic record. They've won the last 3 finals. In 2020, this decider wasn't played because of COVID, but it's been certainly a competition that Glentoran have dominated in recent times. They've won it on 9 occasions previously. This would be number 10. They've actually won it more than all of the other clubs combined. Andrews, how crucial could her goal be? That double Glentoran's advantage after Jessica Foy had given them the lead from the free kick.
One thing's for sure, you know, Sion will work right until the end here. They'll not give up and they'll keep trying to create some chances.
I'm not sure if there's an official presentation, but if you were picking the player of the match, who would it be?
I think it's a tough one, you know, tonight. But for me, especially for a performance in the first half, I think Jolie Andrews has been a big difference for the Glens team. Kelly Bailey too. She's another player who's been really solid. She's been asked to step up. You know, she's done her job, kept things simple. So yeah, I'll probably maybe go with Kelly Bailey.
Oh, you changed your decision.
Yeah, I'm going to
right?
change it. I'm going to go with Kelly Bailey.
You've gone with Kelly Bailey.
Yeah. What do you think?
Both have been in very different ways and put in big performances. I mean, Kelly Bailey at the back, as you say, has done everything that's been asked of her. And I suppose as the match has gone on, Jolie Andrews, everything's gone through her. So it's all subjective. You're the one who knows what you're talking about. I just tell you what's happening. So you're the one who's made the decision. We're going to go with Kelly. Another winner's medal, it looks like, is heading to her household. There's been plenty down through the years. Looks set to win another Irish Cup at the age of 42 and has been so assured. Not like that pass though from McCarran, very unlike her. Straight to Doherty, maybe this one isn't over yet. Can Sion Swifts find 2 late goals that would force extra time? There's one of them.
Oh, what a ball.
It is game on. The ball was exceptional, but that first touch from Tara O'Connor-Farron may well have set up a grand finale.
Absolutely brilliant finish from her. Brilliant finish, and you know, as I said there, Sion Swift will always fight to the end, and who knows what will happen in the next few minutes.
Well, what would have happened if Naomi McLaughlin's effort had ended up in the back of the net? It was just a clip ball, perfectly judged, but the touch from O'Connor-Farron took out the goalkeeper. And when you can hear the reaction from the Sion Swifts fans, and despite all the experience of the Glentoran lineup, there are now sure to be a few nerves there.
Yeah, let's go for it now. Sion need to just go for it here in the next few minutes. Just try and be direct, get the ball in behind the Glentoran defence.
looked as if it was going to be won back again by Lynch. Momentum very much with Sion, and you can see Gail Redmond just telling their players to calm down. There's this pass, perfectly judged, brilliant first touch, took out the goalkeeper, really composed finish. There's the player of the match, Kelly Bailey. May we have been a little bit premature, as we could be heading for another half hour. Who knows? Another Sion Swifts goal, or sorry, another 20 minutes rather than half hour. It would be 10 minutes each way should this game go to extra time. And now all eyes are going to be on the fourth official. How much time will be added on? That's going to be the question all Sion Swifts supporters are asking. Back up again towards O'Connor Farron, and now it's a case of anywhere will do for Glentoran. Was it Naomi Donnan who played the ball? I'm just trying to work out who actually played that pass. I don't think it was McLaughlin, but it's a similar position, similar type of ball right now. Just doesn't find the target. It may well have actually been McLaughlin, and all the pressure and all the pressing now being done by Sion Swifts.
Yeah, the Glens need to try and manage the game here. There's 1 minute left, plus extra time, so...
Well, 90 minutes played, the board is yet to go up. How long will it be? Well, they were certainly happy. Here comes the board. What will it say? The throw-in's taking place 3 minutes. Sion Swifts have 3 minutes to find a goal and force extra time, but Glentoran in possession at the other end. Howe hasn't been afraid to have a go, has another one, just looped over the top.
I think Glens need to be a little bit smarter. 3 minutes to go. You know, that's just giving the ball back to the Sion team.
Will there be time for one more opportunity? Who'd be a manager? McCarran plays it towards the corner, may well drift out of play though, and that's bought them a little bit of territory. .90 remaining of injury time. McCarran again on the ball. She'll just clip it towards that same area. McLaughlin. It's been so good in the latter stages of this game. Forces it forward to the goal scorer. Tussling with McMaster. It's a great battle, but it's one that's been won by O'Connor Farron. Here's Brown. O'Connor Farron's continued her run, but the player of the match, Bailey, gets it out of play, and it's just flicked on by Gail Redmond. Every second will feel like an eternity right now.
Yeah, anywhere will do for the Glentoran team. Let's get that ball down the field.
Into the final minute of injury time. It's been a cup final that certainly lived up to the billing. Two teams have certainly gone for it.
Yeah, it's been a great game of football, and exciting as well at the end of this here.
It's now or never for Sion Swifts. Can they fashion one more opportunity? They don't have the ball. That could well be it. McCarran. Can Glentoran find a third? Hamilton bearing down a goal and then just check back.
Yeah,
that's game management right there.
Yeah,
showing all her experience.
Yeah, it's experience.
To see this one out,
the corner.
Glentoran have won the cup again. Cara Hamilton and company. Gail Redmond celebrates, but there were a few nervy moments later on for her players after Sion Swifts grabbed the goal in the dying minutes.
Sion worked really hard tonight. I think their game plan was to stop them playing, trying to get them on the transition, and they had a couple of real good chances, and another night they go in.
You said that they wouldn't give up. They didn't until the dying seconds, and I suppose the one question you would ask is, should they have maybe gambled that a little bit earlier? Is that the question they'll be asking themselves, or will they reflect in this game and think, a bit of luck, Naomi McLaughlin's effort ends up in the top corner and we're heading for extra time?
I feel like they should be really proud of themselves. Glentoran are a top side. They've been champions for the last couple of years, and they play some great football, and they have done all season, and I think Sion stopped them from doing that, and especially the likes of Cara Hamilton, who's so dangerous when she's on the ball, and she was quiet tonight, I think. So credit to them. They're a young side, and they need to just push on next year and keep working hard, but they should be proud of themselves.
It's been an incredible year for women's football here. From a neutral's point of view, how would you assess the quality of that cup decider?
Yeah, I think two completely different teams. Glentoran is a team full of experience. They're winners. They've won so much in the last couple of years. Where Sion Swifts are almost going through a transition. They've got a lot of young players coming through. So for me, both teams should be proud. Obviously, Glentoran has won it tonight, but credit to the Sion Swifts team, because they stuck to their game plan, and unfortunately the few chances they had that they could have won another night, it just didn't happen for them tonight. But yeah, it was a good game of football. Not
too often you get inside the huddle. All smiles there amongst the Glentoran supporters and their management. Second in the league, but winners of the Challenge Cup again. A 10th overall success, a 4th in a row. The damage done in the first half. Jessica Foy, the skipper, scored from the free kick, and that was followed up by Julianne Roos. The celebrations can well and truly begin. Disappointment in the league for the East Belfast club, pipped by Cliftonville, but on top once again in the cup. They make their way across towards their supporters. Heartbreak for Sion Swifts and their management. So close. They give it all. They won the League Cup a little bit earlier this season, but denied at the final stage in the Irish Women's Challenge Cup final.
Yeah, Sion done fantastic to get here. They come back from 2-0 down against Crusaders and beat them at penalties at the end. So for them, it's been a successful season. They have the League Cup, and they got the National Stadium here in the Irish Cup final. So they should be really proud of themselves. And credit to Glentoran, 4 in a row for them. They've done the double this year. I know they'll be disappointed they didn't get the league, but it's all about working for next year now and see what they can do then.
Savouring moments with their friends and family. The thunderclap has started in the corner, and the trophy will be presented in the next couple of minutes. Hopefully we can maybe look back at some of the best action from the game as those Glentoran supporters and players enjoy the moment. There's the opener. Free kick from Jessica Foy, ending up in the top corner.
I wonder, was that a cross back post with the 2 arms up?
It may well have been, given your insight, but I think at this stage she'll probably be claiming it and saying she was trying to outwit the Sion Swifts back line. Celebration for Foy and her teammates, and then soon after it was 2. Brilliant pass from the teenager Tweedy right through the heart of the Sion Swifts defence. Andrews closed down but couldn't be stopped from that position. Fine finish from her.
Yeah, she's a player full of confidence at the minute. She's firing in every game. The last few games she's played in. Great finish from her, so composed.
Look at it from just behind the goal. That made it 2-0 at the break for the East Belfast side. They looked to be in complete control, but Sion Swifts had other ideas. just before this, they struck the crossbar through Naomi McLaughlin. The substitute, Tara O'Connor-Farron, popped up with that late strike, but they ran out of time in the end, the County Tyrone club. Cara Hamilton also struck the bar a little bit earlier. Brilliant first touch, superb goal, but not enough. Lovely moments for some of those supporters, getting up close and personal with some of their heroes. It's been a real feature of the women's game, the fact that the players and supporters have been able to enjoy moments like this. Plenty of selfies being taken.
Yeah, you see a lot of the Glentoran Academy there behind the senior players, which is great to see.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's great to see the young players out watching the senior players of the club, because it's all about aspiring to do that when they're older.
And for the Sion Swifts players, season to be really proud of. 2 cup finals, one ended in success, beating Cliftonville in the League Cup. As we look at confirmation of the full-time score, we're just awaiting the presentation right now. It's taken a little bit longer than we expected. There's going to be a presentation, of course, to the runners-up, Sion Swifts first, before Glentoran will receive that trophy once again. The stage is set, and we're just awaiting for the officials to get their plan underway. And obviously, well, you've already had a presentation. I meant to say earlier, a week of celebration for you. You win the league on a Wednesday night, and then a big birthday in your house today, a big birthday party today as well. That you hot-footed it from to be here for this game.
Yeah, Quinn turned 3 on, it was actually on Thursday, turned 3, and his party was today. So, yeah, great day had by all with him at his party, and plenty of cake and sweets were eaten, and I'm sure he's still running around the house going mad at the minute.
Sure, it's the off season. You can enjoy yourself. You can ditch the diet for a little bit. Enjoy some cake and sweets.
Well, we've a big game next week, so after that game on the 15th, we'll be able to relax and let our hair down for a few weeks and enjoy the time off.
Yes, the club campaign obviously coming to a close, but as Marissa rightly says, big game coming up for Northern Ireland. They host Italy in a friendly encounter. That's coming up. There's a trophy. It's set. The stage is set. Everyone's just taking their time, enjoying the moment, letting the photographs be taken before the cup will be presented. What a year as we come to obviously the penultimate game of it, the women's game. What a year it's been, 2022 for women's football here. When you reflect on it, both domestically and also at international level, what are the moments that you will remember most?
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year for the women's game, and the big thing is we just have more and more fans coming in and enjoying the game, not only with our international squad but also with the league. And it just shows tonight, there's a great fan base here tonight to see both teams play and ultimately see Glens lift the cup. But yeah, it's been a fantastic year. And
just a reminder, Northern Ireland against Italy will be live on the BBC iPlayer and on the BBC website. So that's to come. That will be the final game in the women's football calendar in 2022. But before that, we're going to have a presentation here at Windsor Park eventually. And it's going to be Sion Swifts, who played such a massive part in this final. The runners-up who will receive their medals first before Glentoran will officially be crowned Challenge Cup winners yet again. It's always difficult in cup finals for the runners-up.
I've seen a lot of those runners-up medals in my career.
And we're not going to have runners-up medal.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's going to be Chloe McCarran first of all, who comes up and is that receiving the Player of the Match award? That's what it appears to be. So they didn't think it was either Kelly Bailey or Jolie Andrews. Chloe McCarran instead given that honour. Nice personal accolade for her as she makes her way back to the squad. And now we are going to have the officials, I think. So the referees, I think you're going to receive commemorative medals.
It's been a busy week for the referees. Louise was actually there on Wednesday night in our game at Solitude. So it's a few medals for her this week.
Good to see female officials, though. Obviously, you can't have football without referees. And more female officials getting involved in the local game. Not just in terms of the women's game, but also in the Irish League as well. You're seeing more and more officials coming through, young females. And now it is going to be Tasma MacArthur, who lifted the League Cup just a few months ago, who leads their side. Another season to remember for Sion Swifts, but they aren't able to replicate their 2017 success in this competition. Collecting their medals, walking past a trophy. So difficult when you're in that situation, but I'm sure when they watch this game back, reflect on it maybe in the days, the weeks, the months to come, they will acknowledge and understand how big a part they played in this decider and just how close they came to forcing extra time. But now it's going to be the winners who make their way down the red carpet. A familiar walk for this bunch of players. Many of them have been here before. A lot of them have enjoyed so much success during their time at the East Belfast club. There's Jolie Andrews, one of the goal scorers, who's actually receiving the medal from the goalkeeper, Ashley McKinnon, who's popped up and found a job, gets one for herself. And the final player who's going to make their way up towards the stage will be the skipper, the captain, the opening goal scorer, who's been there before, just like Glentoran have. There is Jessica Foy, about to lift the trophy again. Once more, Glentoran are the Challenge Cup winners 2022, the trophy, heading back to East Belfast. The 10th time the club have managed to do it, the 4th in a row. Glentoran, Women's Challenge Cup winners once more. Foy again lifting the trophy. Next up, it's Chloe McCarran. Moments to savour for them. 2-1 winners over Sion Swifts in this decider here at the National Stadium. Disappointment in the league. Celebrations once again in the cup. And that concludes the domestic season in 2022. Just a reminder, Northern Ireland against Italy coming up on the iPlayer and on the BBC Sport Northern Ireland website in that Women's Friendly International. Many of those players will be involved in that game as the management also get involved in those pictures, those moments that players will look back on for years and years to come. It's been a long and tough season, but Glentoran leave Windsor Park with yet another trophy. Let's look at what's coming up on the BBC over the next while as we get confirmation of the full-time score here. Glentoran 2, Sion Swifts 1. Plenty of sport coming up on BBC Northern Ireland in the coming week. Wednesday, 10 o'clock, BBC 2, the Irish League show. Plenty to look back on in local football. And then another live television match on Friday night, 7:30, from the showgrounds in Coleraine, as Oran Kearney side welcome the league leaders at the moment. Glentoran back to winning ways today, back on top of the league. That's all to come. Thank you very much to the Northern Ireland captain Marissa Callahan on co-commentary. But for me and everyone else in the team, enjoy the rest of your weekend.